At this time, Coach, if you would make an opening statement, then we'll turn it over for questions for the players.
Sorry, the walk here was winded. I didn't even play the game. Thank you guys for being here. Really great atmosphere at Gamebridge. I really appreciate the job the Big Ten does in bringing out fans and media to make this a great event. We knew this was going to be work. We knew this was going to be a tough one. Indiana's a really good team. They're an NCAA tournament team. We'll be rooting for them to make a second weekend and keep it going. I told Coach Terry I thought she's done a great job. For us, I'm really proud of our group. We found out right before the game that Rhea couldn't go, and everyone stepped up. I thought we played really hard. I think Indiana poses some issues for us guarding them because they do so much action, but our two All-Americans played like All-Americans, and I thought a number of people stepped up, and that's why we've become the team that we've become.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions this side. Wait,
Oh, okay. Lindsay, what were you most concerned about coming into this game against Indiana? A team that played you kind of close last time. And what do you think your team could have done better?
So they do a really good job. They play essentially four guards, sort of, who can shoot the ball. And we wanted to defend the three-point line well. And at the same time, then they raised their five-player high away from the basket, so you don't have the basket protection. And when you sell out on the three-point line, you give up some layups. So that's just, I think that gives a lot of people problems. I thought that, early on we did a nice job on the three-point line and gave up too many easy twos. We wanted to make them take tough twos. But I thought later in the game our disruption started to play a factor in it. I thought Kenny Smith was really good defensively. I thought these two were really good defensively. A number of people did a really good job, Avery Howell. And so we kind of got more into a defensive rhythm. I would have liked to turn the ball over a little bit less and keep them from getting points on off turnovers as well, because their action is hard enough to guard in the half court.
Okay, again, Coach, questions for the student athletes. Please raise your hand.
JuJu and Kiki, 52 combined points was clearly the winning recipe tonight, but in those second and third quarters, how can you get your teammates a little bit more involved?
I think for us, it kind of just starts on the defensive end. I think we had some lapses in the second and third where we kind of let them get hot and do what they wanted to do. And then I think we fouled a lot, myself particularly, and that helped keep them in the game. So I think just making sure on the defensive end we're doing what we need to do, but I think offensively we kind of all know our roles, and everybody's capable of shooting and scoring.
Question second to last row.
Nancy Emery, USA Today. JuJu and Kiki. How important is it to have these games give you guys tough tests going into the tournament, that there's not a chance to slack off, let down your energy?
I think knowing what's on the line, all of the games are going to be like that. I mean, we don't expect to just, go in there and blow the other team out, because there's so much on the line, and this conference is so good. So we always go in knowing that we're going to play our best and do whatever it takes to win. And then, it comes down to the intangibles and tough plays that win the game.
Hi, Nikki Thomas from Annenberg Media. JuJu, with this performance today, you move into second all-time in 30-point games for a USC women's basketball player. I know you probably talk about it all the time, but as your sophomore season comes to a close, how do you process your position in both USC and women's basketball history?
I don't really think about it much, if I'm being honest. Like I said, I just go out there and play for the team, and whatever's needed of me, I do. But yeah, I think it's just a testament to the long nights in the gym and a team and a coach that really trusted me. So I'm able to play to the best of my ability.
Questions for the players?
Hi, Josh Raya from IUND. Kiki and JuJu, you guys really took over in the third quarter, but IU really kept the game still close during that time. How much does the lack of made threes limit your offense?
That's a hard question. I think we're all very capable of making threes. I trust all my teammates. This is also our first time playing in this gym, so I think we've gotten that first win, and our first time playing in this gym. So I think tomorrow will be much better. But we're more than capable of making threes. It was just an off day.
Any more questions for the players? All right, ladies, you are dismissed.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach?
Ben Bulge, Los Angeles Times, here in the back. You alluded to being shorthanded today. Can you talk about a little bit more about that situation, how it impacted you and Raya's status going forward?
Yeah, I mean, Rhea is a leader for us. She's had an incredible season. She's a great player. We always want her on the floor. But we found out shortly before the game that she couldn't go. She's battling an illness, and it just prevented her from being able to go. So hopefully we get her tomorrow. But we also have a lot of trust in our entire team. You always want to go in at full strength, but I think you also want the team to be ready to do what they need to do. I think two things happened because she was out. We started small, right, and played Kiki at the 5 and went 4 guards. And then we came in with Clarice, who I thought gave great minutes as well.
Okay, we'll go Dave, then Zion.
Dave Reinhardt, WCBK Radio. Coach, the third quarter, 2 ties, 4 lead changes, and throw in a young lady named Garzon, and boy, she can knock threes down, and IU runs the offense that you commented about. Just your thoughts in that third quarter and how it affected your ball club.
Yeah, I mean, they're really good. They're really well coached, and they're old, right? Garzon is old. Chloe Moore McNeil is old. Parrish is old, right? Veteran. I mean they're way younger than me. You know what I mean? They're veteran. And so kids like that are not going to go out without a really tough fight. They're excellent players, and I thought we had to adjust. I do think moving Kennedy Smith onto Garzon affected the game. She is just an elite defender. You know, I'm really proud of the fact we have 2 of the 5 all-defensive players in the Big Ten in Rhea and JuJu, but I think Kennedy probably doesn't get enough credit for how she impacts the game defensively, and I thought we had to do that because of how hot Garzon got during that time.
Zion?
Zion Brown, IUSTV. Lindsay, you talked about how good of a shooting team this is and how they keep multiple shooters on the floor. Up until they had to start heaving threes at the end of this game, they were way below their normal three-point attempts in Indiana. Just what did you guys do to make sure that they weren't getting those threes up cleanly throughout the game?
Yeah, I mean, we watched the game yesterday, right? That was probably the difference in the game. There was a lot of even stats between Oregon and Indiana, but the three-point line, and it's over time, their wins, the made threes are really high. Our perimeter defenders are really good and really athletic, and so we feel like we can put pressure at the point of attack. What that did give up then, because they have multiple three-point shooters, like in the flare screens, they can slip. We went over flares and they curled a bit, and again, our basket protect isn't the same when the 5 is high with the ball and they're a shooting threat. So it's an offense that poses problems. I think Terry's a great coach for a reason, and I think they've figured out over the course of the season really their identity. I know they played so many years with such an amazing post player who graduated, and so I think it took them maybe some time to adjust to not having the dominant low block, but certainly I think they're playing well at the right time, and they're going to be an NCAA tournament team that is very dangerous for someone that's not us.
Coach Jack Birmingham, Daily Iowan. Just out of curiosity, I think we all know this time of the season, every win, the matchups are going to get a little bit tougher. It's win or go home at this point. So what's one thing you want your team to keep in mind going into the winner of Maryland, Michigan tomorrow?
That this is, March basketball, that both of those teams are great teams, that we're going to have to come and win every possession. I've told the team a number of times, we get no bonus points for being the regular season champs. We get no bonus points for what we did yesterday, but we can derive from the success we've had what it is that makes us good, and that you can carry forward with you all the time, no matter what the circumstance presents. But we're playing really good basketball teams from here on out, and we got to be ready to go, no matter which team it is.
Lindsay, Nancy Armour from USA Today. It seemed like, especially in the third quarter, every time IU was making a run, JuJu came up with some defensive play, whether it was a steal. I think she had a block at one point. Do you ever, I don't want to say take that for granted, but it seems like she does that in every single game for you guys. How much of a luxury is that for you guys to have that?
I mean, how she has developed into the two-way player that she is really remarkable. I mean, think about what she handles on the offensive end, right? Like, we get her the ball, as much as we can. There's multiple bodies draped on her. She takes a lot of contact. She's a physical player. And then we say, oh, by the way, impact the game defensively too. She takes no breaks. The things that she does I never take any of it for granted, but we come to expect what she's capable of. But the ways that she makes game-changing plays and makes something out of nothing for us and takes away something that looks easy for the other team is really tremendous. I mean, look, you guys probably know how I feel about it. I think she's the player of the year nationally for a number of different reasons, but I am glad that her game-changing ability on the defensive end is being talked about a little bit more because you see it.
Okay, time for two more questions.
Ben Belch, Los Angeles Times. You talked about how you would have an in-state tournament feel, but you probably didn't know it would have a true road game feel until the matchup came out, right? What was that like, and how do you feel like your players responded to the atmosphere today?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. First of all, this is an incredible arena. I hadn't been in here since I coached with the Cavs and we played the Pacers, and then when we were on the Indiana-Purdue trip, we practiced here. Just to have them see it, not in the main arena, but in the Fever facility. So we wanted to see it. But to see it come to life here was great. I joked about it with the staff. I'd rather have a lot of fans here, even if they're rooting against us, than not. I have a feeling, the Iowa fans that are here and travel well, maybe rooting for us. And our fans were loud here, but credit to the IU fans who show up at their building. They have like 15,000 people come regularly, and for them to travel and show up for their team, it's great for women's basketball. And hopefully we can continue to play a brand of basketball here where we get fans from these other Big Ten cities along the way. We want to play a way that make people gravitate towards us, and really appreciative of our fans that traveled out here as well.
Final question, Mike.
Michael Presti, NCAA.com. Now having spent a year in this conference, have you learned anything about the Big Ten that you didn't know before? Did anything surprise you what this has been like?
I mean, the depth of talent, the fact that we have teams that are 10, 11, 12 seeds here who might be a better seed in the national tournament is wild, right? I mean, I was an 11 seed. That's, that because of the depth of talent, and, Nebraska at a 10, that the depth of talent, I think, is really impressive, that we were playing NCAA tournament teams night in and night out with 12 or 13 teams in this league. I think that's the main thing. I think the fans that people draw on the road, and I think when we played, most teams got higher than their average attendance, so we got great fan attendance on the road. I think the love of women's basketball out here has been very prevalent for us. And then lastly, I would say our players have definitely learned there's cold and then there's Midwest cold. And it hits them different every time we get off of a plane. We got some real deep freezes on our trips out here, so I think it makes them appreciate living in LA just a little bit more too.
Coach, want to thank you very much.
Thank you.